Start to second place. Pekka Bagnaya's got away well too. He's all around the outside of Bezzecchi on three.
Yeah, just to start, Pekka Bagnaia wanted. He just stayed on the left-hand side, just stayed well out of trouble. Sector down in 17th place. It's been a nightmare start for the rookie.
Not a great start either for Binder. Coming from a long way back. Wow. How far back goes Pekka Bagnaia? How did he get Bean's business?
Unbelievable. Already hand over the overtake of the race award to Pekka.
Audacious, ambitious, but last year it is still though Marc Marquez in front of a cacophony of noise. Coming now towards turn 13 and Pekka Bagnaia so close. What a first! This Spanish Grand Prix in Jerez down in 7th place. He leads at the end of an incredible first lap. Go three abreast, Marquez, Martin and Bagnaia. How did they avoid contact? Three, of course, Bagnaia and Marquez already have history, don't they? So far this season.
Three heavyweights of MotoGP trading haymakers on the first lap and a bit. They're still sixth as Marc Marquez closes in again on the back of Jorge Martin. Clearly, he was...
It got worse for the rookie. He took the line at the end of that first lap, a hectic first lap. Here we go then. It's Bagnaia that leads at the moment. The Grand Prix. We'll see a replay of that, I'm sure, very soon. When we can catch a break in this, Carlos Sainz will be loving this action early on in MotoGP. Sideways goes Bagnaia. He's made a mistake. Side by side with Marquez. Look, Marquez might have missed the drive coming out of that final turn. GP at its very best, ladies and gentlemen.
This capacity crowd in Jerez being whipped into a freighter start this Grand Prix. What a first couple laps it's been for the world champion. Pekka Bagnaia into second. He's up ahead of him. The GP24's first and second. The trio GP23's right
first lap. He's getting in a little bit hot there as well, isn't he? Down into turn 6 where he made the brilliant into turn 7. Third gear up to approaching 220 kilometers an hour now.
Jockey starts, so did the factory Aprilia's. Maverick Vinales is 13th. Alex Spargo 18th.
Theo are never going to be able to sustain a serious title challenge because 1 week they're world beaters. It's the impression. Can he resist the attack from Bagnaia through 13? Yes, he can. This is where Bagnaia ran lead. 3 laps completed then here. Unbelievable money. Where did that come from? Fast Frankie's just set the fastest lap.
Together, there's a half-second gap behind Alex Marquez, back to Brad Binder, who's at the moment. Ralph Fernandez is in 11th, just behind the Bastianini Miller-Gian Antonio battle, but
on the Cito Ponce corner, he can't get close to Bezzecchi's just in a fraction hot and to find his way back through a very congested pack. He's found a way through on Johan Zarco, and there was contact there, wasn't there, between Zarco and Acosta.
Yeah, but the fact he was all
full dodgems there, wasn't he, on Pedro Acosta. That's a fast corner as well, sweeping through turn 5. Here comes Bezzecchi on the inside of Marquez. Those two have got recent history as well of views after they tangled early on in that Valencia Grand Prix. Turn 8 for Dani Pedrosa. That's the 38-year-old Spaniard. Front end there went 137.940. That's only about 100th though clear of here at turn 5 on that very first lap. Acosta was on the outside. It was the contact that made it look a lot worse than what it conclusion. Battle for the lead. Into turn 8 we go. On lap 5, sitting in 3rd place. By far his best Grand Prix of 2024.
Yeah, the happiest him would have been in last year's World Championship. I guess the surprise so far is the fact that Marc Marquez is back in shuffle, back to 4th. He's still hanging on to this leading trio, but is Marc Marquez just going to try and keep his powder?
Bagnaia still right on his coattails. Bezzecchi and Marquez exchange fast. Fine margins as always here in MotoGP. Marquez 137.92. Once again, to his credit, was Frankie Morbidelli, who's down in 13th place.
Yeah, to get the run on him, and I think he has got the run on him. Coming onto the back straight, buried in the slipstream of
that's incredible onboard action. Martin Marquez is going to have to get through a Marco Bezzecchi pretty sharpish. He won't want to see turn 9. This is where Marquez crashed out of the lead in the sprint yesterday. Looking back to Crivier corner we go. World champion quite into turn 13. That's where Bagnaia's been so strong throughout his career here. 4th for Martin, fastest lap. Martin and Bagnaia able to keep the pace in the 37s on that previous lap.
Yeah, Alex Marquez, the riders ahead. There are Very few straights worthy of the name here around that final corner of 13. There's very little space and time to get alongside somebody before you reach the break.
Betseki's doing a proper turn here, isn't he, for his great mate Pecco Bagnaia, because at the monkey, who at the moment is just struggling to run the hot pace at the front and speed.
And how much longer can Alex Marquez hold Brad Binder off? Danny Pedrosa through the field. He's just passed Near up into 14th place, but slow progress at the moment for the
Alex Espargaro outside of the points in 17th at a circuit where he was on top team, hasn't it, over the last couple of years in MotoGP? Well, that's the story so far here in this race. We follow Marco Bezzecchi through turn 2, through 3 we go. This was still plaguing Marquez to this very day. Marquez, you just wonder if he's having to sit off the first time this Grand Prix. He has slipped a second behind your leader, Martin.
It was Bezzecchi backwards and turning around, doesn't it, as we come through the Danny Pedrosa hairpin, but Pedrosa, or Danny Portimao, he is very good at absorbing pressure, but there is very little pressure, quite like the ready
first lap was just out of the top draw, out of this world. It was brilliant. On board with Marquez then. He powers through the Ferrari corner now.
Way style on the way into the final corner. The crowd rises as one to their feet. Back on Friday, Marc Marquez was so quick at the end of his run on very worn time by just under 1.1 seconds.
Keep a close eye on Alex Marquez in 5th place, just been 9.82. The Moto3 world champion is the only rider current hunt down Marc Marquez, and Bezzecchi ahead of him here, isn't he, on the 73 bike.
Personal best for Fabio Gian Antonio on that last lap. It's been a miserable afternoon for Tech 3, so right through the pit lane. It doesn't rain, but it pours for Augusto Fernandez.
Yeah, date to forget the legendary Bugatti circuit, our next port of call in MotoGP. In the game of cat and mouse at the moment between Martin and Bagnaia. Proper good long look here at the strengths and weaknesses of Jorge Martin directly ahead of him. Kenny to Marco Bezzecchi. Bezzecchi's doing a great job actually in 3rd to keep that gap back to Marco.
Acosta update. He's just set his personal best lap of the race. It's 1:38.3. He's now closed Pedro Acosta. If he can fight his way to the top 10 from there, that would be a bit of a salvage job, but not the afternoon.
Needs to be 47 points clear. He's threatening to increase his championship lead here by weekend to forget for Alex Espargaro, who hit a wet patch on lap 1 in the sprint yesterday.
To me, he did indeed.
Yeah.
So Alex Espargaro, I think, perhaps a little bit ambitious and perhaps...
The GP grid, the wise old heads have bitten the dust here, haven't they? Danny Pedrosa, 38. John, Zarco, the innocent victim of that. Have a little look at the game for him here in Jerez. He's never stood on a Sunday podium in Jerez. Once again, Martin Bagnaia, Bezzecchi and Marc Marquez all doing very happy. Looking a bit pensive as well. There you can see Zarco and Alex Espargaro, his 9-time world champion Valentino Rossi. Pecco Bagnaia, of course, his star pupil. What looks at the moment like a pretty comfortable 3rd to his credit.
Yeah, a couple of laps ago, Marc Marquez was on it.
A new look, a more experienced, a more mature Jorge Martin. And Jorge Martin crashes out at turn 6, the Jerez. He crashed out of a 3-second lead, didn't he, in Mandalika last year, which was another gift-wrap present to Pecco Bagnaia here in Spain.
Pecco Bagnaia just would not give him a corner's rest, and finally,
race, tricky conditions, we have to finish, not the time for stupid mistakes. It's being exerted by Bagnaia, easier said than done. But Jorge Martin, he was going to be 47 points clear in the World Championship. It stays as was, has done then, has put Pecco Bagnaia clear at the front by over 3. Now is on course for his first Ducati podium in the Grand Prix.
Who came into this race 42 points ahead of Pecco Bagnaia. Well, it'll be all the way down to 7th. It'll blow by any means, but it's certainly a big opportunity missed for Jorge Martin. And Pecco on the grid when Martin went down. The world champion that Bagnaia is, he will know. He will have seen him.
He's dropped the ball himself on more than one occasion, has he, in the past. Alex Marquez then now up into 4th place. Keep an eye on Marc Marquez in those high 137s. Has Marquez just been saving a bit of tyre from the 2 Italians at the moment? A proper gate crash in the Spanish party, aren't they, at the front of this Grand Prix? Trackhouse Racing Aprilia. Further back then it's Fabio Di Gian Antonio, who's up now into Pushpinhala's up into 9th. 10th for Miller. Further back Ralph Fernandez, more
second could be Pecco Bagnaglia's greatest ally in this Grand Prix. Marc Marquez does have that. That's to Marc Marquez, but I think that was when he went wide on the exit of the final corner, got over the curve, and it looks like he steadied it on this lap. But Marc Marquez, you suspect, is the
didn't he? Yellow flags are out in that fourth sector. So the turn there, he was 4/10 slower on that lap 13 than Bezzecchi into the Lorenzo corner. Way out onto the marbles. Jorge Martin, unfortunately, he's had to do that walk of shame before. Surely will stay on board with the 93. On the inside he goes. Bezzecchi were snaking left. They were snaking right. They were nosedived on the front end, but the assault, the attack towards Bagnaia. This is game on. Listen to the decibels have just gone up a few notches here in the red. Marquez not been to
T3. Pecco Bagnaia needs to be alerted to this, that Marc Marquez is now in second place. GP23, and by thousands of his home fans.
Key moment so far this Grand Prix. Martin crashing out. Look at the into turn 6 he goes, trail braking in. Down he goes in your home Grand Prix. Simon, some thoughts?
Yeah, they're on that Martin, but more from riders behind, so that where the temperature and pressure gets high. I've been following at a distance where they still get a bit of air, and you can see Mark doing that. Martin the benefit of the doubt rather than saying straight out mistake, and that's the sort of crash they have. Also, did you see Mark hammer?
Very much fascinating. It will be fascinating to hear from the Martin camp exactly here and around. A Spanish winner of the Spanish Grand Prix doesn't happen very often. Not 9.5 tenths, 38.1 from Bagnaia, 38 flat on Jack Miller. This would put Acosta back inside the top 10, and he would have stayed to the championship. Would have thought he might be. Of course, he's still going to see the checker flag himself.
The yellow flags are out now in sector. With Acosta up behind Miller, but we're waiting for somebody to drop down the order up ahead of us. The yellow into the Danny Pedrosa hairpin, and Acosta is into the top 10. The bad news for him is that he
can't take that yellow flag.
Saw the panel flashing.
Yeah, we did, yeah. Crikey, hard from the fans in the stadium section here as Marc Marquez is starting to hone in. Bezzecchi still there, just out your picture, in third. He's at 1.6 seconds clear. Big battle between Bagnaia and Marquez.
Certainly
They've
is.
already 7.873. This is hammered down from Marquez. Fast.
Extra speed up your sleeve, Pecco Bagnaia. Now's the time to find it, because Marc Marquez, he felt he could and should have won potentially in Austin 2 weeks ago when he was the one to crash. And when you add in the fact that he's on home soil with thousands of his own fans, with 93s on their shirt.
Take your eyes off this gripping, compelling Spanish Grand Prix through so sprint. Just listen to the cheers, listen to the gap now. Again, Marquez quicker through doing the fingernails inside the Gresini Ducati garage. Nadia Padovani watches on. Is she going to hear in a tense Jerez Grand Prix? Bagnaia is responding. Brilliant. This not much he's taken out of Marc Marquez. What a showdown this is building. 17. This could get spicy in Spain.
Two of the very best in the world. 19 MotoGP victories. Marc Marquez 59 Motos reserves that he's got, having followed Martin for so long and thinking once Martin crashed out of the
Pretty lonely and safe third place. He's got an advantage back to, fair to say, that's a very frank exchange of opinion, isn't it? Through turn 5 we go. Easy post-race, looking at that one. Morbidelli versus Miller. And Zarco versus peeved about that one, wasn't he? Let's pick it up though, back at the front. The crowd get on 37.954 from Bagnaia. Half a tenth clipping it out with Binder in the braking zone for the first corner. These two went down on that wet patch.
He's also just up ahead of them. They're losing contact with Alex Marquez at the moment. Alex Marquez under the radar, having a very battle, and with their squabbling into turn 1, it's bringing Miguel Oliveira back into play, who's currently running 7.
On lap 19, Bagnaia is keeping that gap at exactly 6.5. Get any closer. Some ride this so far from Bagnaia, starting from 7 and 8. That's where he gobbles up a bit of time. It certainly is under.
Surely it's not going to be another duel into the Jorge Lorenzo corner. Turn 13 on the final. Conjure up another one.
My first ever Grand Prix here back in 1996 was one of those, starred in one of those battles, and Marc Marquez sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Down Pecco Bagnaia now, the gap under half a second, 0.485 for Pedrosa versus Lorenzo. Rossi versus Gibernau. Marquez versus Marquez to that illustrious list. We certainly hope so as neutrals here in the commentary box. Harper doesn't bite lens clear of Marc Marquez.
More than a race victory that they're battling for here. Hasn't won, of course, since the first round in Qatar. He wants to beat Marc Marquez. Marc Marquez
Running out the noise of these 300 horsepower MotoGP bikes. They sense they are Marquez return to the top step of the podium. Look how quick he is. Look how confident Bagnaia as we're about to start lap 21 of 25. Successive laps now. Marquez has set the new race record at 1:37.
This does change though now. Catching Pecco Bagnaia is one thing, passing him is quite another. To outbreak, we saw it on the first lap when he went round the outside of Marco Bezzecchi into.
It's building up to be something extra special, isn't it, in Jerez? Marquez is not going to be close enough. Pick his moment as they power out of the Pedrosa corner. They'll flick it left now through self to have a launch on the inside of Bagnaia. This is the moment. Here he comes. Instantly tries to fight back. They touch. They rub going through turn 10. This is Porto exit of turn 10 as well. Hold on to your hats on the edge of your seat. Toe to toe here with Marc Marquez. They come out of the final corner. The crowd are on.
Pecco Bagnaia defending like his life depends on it. He desperately wants this victory, a race victory up for grabs here. Pecco Bagnaia now knows where the attack is going to come. He knows.
That scuffle on that last lap. They were doing high 137s. They both were here for the victory. Is it going to be cheers or tears? We're about no question where their loyalty lies, no question where their allegiances is. As Reed coming behind him, will he go defensive here?
Yeah.
Tight into 9. Here comes Maya on the cutback, seizes the lead once again. Successive laps set here in Jerez.
Give Pecco Bagnaia so much credit here. Not only is a formidable talent, but he is such saw it coming and took it back on the switchback. 3 more laps for the world champion to hang on.
We hope it's still to come. There is Bagnaia, then your race leader, who was then in second place. You can see that the battle a couple of laps ago cost him well over Paris so far as he tries to hunt down Alex Marquez for 4th place off Marquez. Marquez nowhere near close to throw to get in Bagnaia's Slipball Spanish Grand Prix.
Yeah, Bagnaia's best forward defence here was just to try and pull an advantage out. Wanted this.
Right.
Marquez was wanting to turn in. Bagnaia just would not allow him.
The GP2 of the very best. Davide Tardozzi, he can't watch. He's got a few him stroking the goatee beard. I'm sure at the back of that factory, the Catty garage, we on his Grand Prix. It's very much advantage Bagnaia here though, who's starting to streak away from Mark. Michelin tyres somehow has found a 137.449.
Marc Marquez's attack and said, okay Mark, have a bit of this. A 137.23rd of 25 might be the one that wins Pecco Bagnaia this Grand Prix.
Probably the hat-trick hero here in Jerez as it stands so far. He's got a lap and he's got a few to pick from as well. You just wonder now with the Marc Marquez, the realisation has dawned on him, which seems strange to say.
Not his style, is it?
Not his style, but it is a second place for one final last lap attack. Is it all going to come down to Lorenzo Pedrosa, Marquez Lorenzo? We've been here and done it before. Kilometres remaining. The gap over the line will be what? Spain. He's done millions of laps around the Jerez circuit. Now he needs the best he's ever produced.
Marc Marquez is going to have to surely set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix just to catch Bagnaia. Let him.
This will feel like some statement win, won't it, for Pecco Bagnaia? 7th on the 3rd row of the grid. Well, Pecco Bagnaia is showing you just how to do it. He manages to get out of corners here as they come through his favourite turn 7 and 8. He's nowhere
From here, he's so good through this 3rd sector, but Bagnaia is still those 10 or so Bagnaia.
I'll tell you what, he's building. Here comes Marc Marquez. It's all too little, too late. He has a mad late. Pecco Bagnaia. Yet Marquez will not be close enough to attack Pecco Bagnaia. What a world champion! Pecco Bagnaia reigns in Spain. He does.